What's going on, guys? Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a happy New Year, spent time with their loved ones. Hope everybody was safe. Thank you guys for watching the previous video. I got a lot of love. Also got some DMs wondering what happened to the BMW, what happened to the E46. So with the BMW, truth is, after the last track day, which was about last year, it ended up blowing up. Kind of, not really. So what's happening now, oil is mixing within the coolant, but not vice versa. So what I'm thinking happened, either we have a crack in the block, crack in the head, or the head gasket just failed itself. Start tearing apart the engine, and I'm going to inspect to see what actually failed. So let's get to it. All right, and there she is. I had the car on inside this car cover for about the last year or so. I've been turning it on here and there, driving it. The car still drives, runs and drives. It just mixes the oil within the coolant, and on startup there's a bunch of smoke that comes out through the rear. So about a couple of days ago, probably before Christmas actually, I ended up just bringing the car inside, put it on all 4 jack stands, put it in the air, already drained the coolant, and I've just had it under the car cover since. But now we're gonna get to it, and as you can see, just from sitting so long, I was starting to get somewhat of a rodent problem, but doesn't look like any of the wires got chewed through. Not that I see. But yeah, I do want to mess a little bit with the ECU. I was already doing my research on this. MS42 ECU is going to be in here, so it's just a couple Allen bolts. Cover comes off, and the ECU is in there. Now there's a way that you can use your laptop to get into the ECU and remove things like the secondary air pump, rear O2s. We could also do a mod, which is the, I want to say the B30 intake. B30, which pretty much removes this valve, which is a known problem that when the valve breaks, the actual valve itself that flaps around ends up just shooting plastic all throughout the intake, destroying the engine. So getting the new intake manifold will actually give you bigger runners as well, giving you more torque. But that's something maybe in the future. I want to see if I could get this engine just going back 100% to stock, running perfect, no hiccups, no check engine light. And then after that, we're gonna start removing things like the secondary air pump, things like the rear O2, and see if we could just mess with the fuel tables. You know, maybe this is a good engine, or a good chassis even, to get familiar with starting to tune. You know, tuning, you know, that's something I've never done myself before, but I think with this car, with the amount of knowledge or amount of resources that's out there on the internet, I think there's a good chance that I might figure it out. Or worst case, the car blows up. I mean, it is what it is, you know. Take it back apart, rebuild it. If it needs a short block, put a short block. Find these all day at the junkyard, $200-300, whatever it needs. After that, once we get more familiar with it, just keep on stacking, you know. Who knows? I see very good potential for this engine, for this chassis, just with the tuning software or the tuning capabilities of it, you know. Even though, yeah, there's better options we can go with. Yeah, we can go LS. Yeah, we go S54. But at the end of the day, it comes down to cost and just working with what we got. You know, I already have this engine. This engine, I know it runs. I know what it needs. Well, not what it needs yet, but I do know the, I guess, the possible issues that it's gonna need or have, you know. Like I said, worst case, it will need a block or a head. So worst case, it needs an engine. Best case, it just needs a head gasket. That's pretty much if. And I guess, I don't know which I'm gonna do so far, but I guess I'll know once I get to it, you know. If it does end up needing an engine, man, that'll be tough. If it ends up needing an engine, we'll probably just pick one from the junkyard, rip it apart, freshen it all up, new gaskets, new seals all around, throw it in, and then just keep going forward with the plan. But yeah, so let's get started on this one. I'm gonna set this thing back up on the tripod and see how much footage I can get. Actually, what I want to check next is which way the engine spins. That way I know when to spin it. That way when I'm doing my timing, because some of these engines, they are counterclockwise, but I don't know if it's BMW specific or like Asians. But I know some engines, they spin opposite, so they spin clockwise instead of, or counterclockwise instead of clockwise. So let's see if I can put a jump pack on this and see if it'll crank. That didn't sound good, but I got to see that the engine spins clockwise. Alright, quick update since the camera died. So I'm not sure where I left up on the last part, but I ended up taking a thermostat, water pump. Well, actually all the pulleys. I got the power steering pump hanging down there. AC compressor doesn't have to come off, I believe so. Only thing I have left is the pulley. But to take off that one, I think I'm gonna have to remove the AC condenser. So that means pulling out the lines, evacuating all the system. I'm gonna see if I could work around it, maybe just use a pry bar or a breaker bar. I mean, breaker bar just to break it loose, get it out. I already tried to hit it with a 3/8. It's not budging at all. So might do that tomorrow since we're running out of daylight. I want to just pull off the intake manifold, see if I could get that one done. But I'm gonna set up the tripod again. Hopefully I could get some more footage before the battery dies. All right guys, so day 2. Let's get it. So yesterday, not sure where I left off yesterday, but what I have left, or what I've taken off so far, is all the pulleys except for the crank pulley. Everything is set to the side. What I'm going to take off next is the intake manifold to see if I could get access, or take out, and also to take out the starter to see if I could get access to hold the flywheel somehow, because this bolt is too hard to take off. So it's either attempted to do by this, which is intake is going to come off either way. It's just going to be an extra step of taking off the starter. If that doesn't work, I'm going to have to pull off the AC condenser, probably some of the front end as well, to be able to get the 1/2-inch impact in here to be able to break that bolt loose. But hopefully we're able to take it off just by removing the starter in the rear, put somewhat like a pry bar or something to hold that back, and to break it loose with a breaker bar. All right, finally got the intake off. This thing is a nightmare to remove. You have to take up all of these things that you can't even see. Like this. Well, this is just like a harness bracket, just 2 bolts. This line was completely under, which was for the booster. Throttle cable. It's just connected to some sensor. This line, which is, I'm pretty sure it's an evap line. Evap line. I think that was it. And I ended up finding where that vacuum line went to, which was, now I don't even know where this one went to. Where was it at? There was a little vacuum line. It's probably back on the intake, but that vacuum line that I was talking about earlier, hard to see, but there's a little nipple right in there. So for sure, actually it's this one right here. This vacuum line, the one that I said it was like torn up. Yep, goes right in there. That for sure is gonna help with the idle problem. So it should fit. I'm gonna see if I can get it on there a little bit of silicone. That way it kind of just holds it together. If not, I'll probably put a little clamp on it, or just run an entirely a brand new line, because the line does look a little swollen. The top looks a little bigger than this, and this feels solid, this feels squishy. So that's that. Intake manifold off. Now we have more access to, well, everything. All right, so where I'm at right now is I took off the cables. 4 cables right here is these two, well, 3 cables actually, these two, and then the starter wire, main battery. Now the bolts, they have to come, or they come in from the back side, so from the transmission through the engine block. So it's that bolt right there. It's those I think they're called E torques. So I'm gonna see if I'm able to just remove this coolant line. After all, it's already loose. Like previous owner, look, it left everything loose. So I'm gonna just put a bolt in this once I get everything back together. But this coolant line, it might be good, but I'm gonna pull it off either way. See if it can give me a little bit of extra room to get back here. That way I'm not just folding it, or I might just fold it like this. There it is, valve cover off. Alright, so here it is. This thing looks pretty clean considering the age. Timing chain. I don't think this chain's ever been replaced. I did already do the Vano seals probably like 2 years ago. Oh, the camshafts look good. I think this piece pops out. Where's my pick? Yeah, let's see if this one just, yeah, it just pops up. It's just a little wind stray. Take a look at all the lobes. Everything looks pretty good. Oh wow. So that's the head bolt right there, and look at that. BMW made a little notch on the camshaft to get to the head bolts. Look at that. Pretty neat. I'll see. I'll probably have to take them off either way, because if I do, and if it ends up being good, I'm still going to change all the valve seals, which I'm obviously going to have to take off the camshaft to get to the valve seals. But before we get to that, we got to take off the timing chain. So all this Vano system has to come out, which hopefully I remember how to take it off. Alright, so you know what? I think that's going to be it for today. It's already starting to come down on the rain. What I was going to do next is just get the secondary air pump out. Both exhaust manifolds set aside, and after that just timing chain, front cover, cam caps, and then head bolts. But like I said, it's already starting to rain, so and I still need to clean up, cover this back up, close the hood, put the cover back on, and put all the tools away before everything gets wet. So pick this back up hopefully tomorrow. Alright, so good thing we called it a day once we did, because look, now it's just, it is just pouring out here. I already got the car covered back up, put all the tools away, just left the radiator out. Either way, radiator's gonna get replaced. Doesn't matter if that thing stays out. Water pumps, everything is gonna get replaced. Warranty, doesn't matter if it stays out. But yeah, we were cut a little bit short due to the rain, but hopefully tomorrow, nice and sunny, and we can get right back to it. You know, we're almost there to see what the actual problem is. But yeah, next clip will be tomorrow. All right, let's get back to it. Day 3 now. Hopefully nothing else goes wrong, but most likely it will. You know what? Instead of trying to taking off the manifold right here when the head is still in the car, I think, pretty sure I have enough space if I just take off the bolts on the collector, so on the bottom, take those pipes off, and then just remove the head with the manifold still on. So this thing is going to be a nightmare to try to take off from when it's still inside, so I'm going to try that. Look at that, man. Ooh. Works like a charm. Alright, back up top. Looks like now we can start taking apart this vein nose system. Well, the rest of it. This timing chain. Actually, I still don't have this pin for, but I wonder if I could fit like a little Allen key or paper clip maybe. So I ended up finding this L key right here. I think this is a 1.5 mil, and fits perfectly in the hole, so I'm gonna just jam that in there. Just finished taking off both of the cams already. I already took off this side, this little tray. Everything looks pretty clean so far. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just call for some reinforcements. Alright, so after struggling with this head, heavy, super heavy head, finally took it off. Right away, well, at least on the head gasket, you can see the issue. Pretty sure the oil traveled through here, through the middle, made it through the cooling ports, which is what we're seeing, all this junk right here. So, looks like it's good news. Looks like it's just going to be the head gasket and whatever gaskets we need to put everything back together. But either way, I do want to send this off to the machine shop, get it all flat, all decked out, and then they'll clean up all this carbon too. Alright, so for the block, I'm not seeing any pitting, anything. I mean, obviously it's still dirty, so I am gonna take a cleaner, clean up all this excess. It's all just head gasket material. This black stuff, it's just the head gasket material. You know, it just comes off easily. Check out the walls, clean everything up, and then yeah, I'm gonna order up all the parts I need. Actually, still want to take off this front cover, but yeah, I'm gonna take it off, take a peek at everything, make sure everything's good. Also take a look at the oil pump. These M52s, they're known to have that issue where the oil pump nut at higher RPMs, they end up backing out, coming off of the shaft, and your gear slips off. So gonna make sure that's good, probably Loctite it and put some just take it off, Loctite it, then just torque it back up. At the same time, we're gonna change out of the gasket and just to get access to this timing chain as well. Yeah, so on the head, just take everything out, spark plugs, exhaust manifold, sensors, whatever bolts are on here, brackets. Pretty much strip everything down, get it ready for the machine shop, get all the parts on order. So what we're going to be needing is a timing chain kit, head gasket for sure. We're going to need some head bolts as well. But yeah, so that's going to be the end of this one. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. Like I said, parts are going to be coming in. I'm going to get them on order today. Hopefully they'll come soon. and just wait for that. Just wait for the machine shop, wait for the parts to come in, and we'll be back in business. All right, thank you guys for watching.